Patrick. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good afternoon for you guys.
You're in Switzerland?
Yes, I am.
Oh. How long have you been there?
I moved to Switzerland spring last year in April
Okay.
2017. Yeah.
Okay, so today I want to ask some questions to you, and I want to share your information to our viewers. So first of all, would you tell me about yourself briefly? Like what's your work?
Yeah. So I got into crypto in 2013 because back then I was running my own consulting business with which I helped startups to raise funding, like Series A, Series B funding rounds. And while doing so, I got in touch with a Bitcoin startup. And back then I didn't know what Bitcoin was, right? Because it was like 2013, but I found it super interesting right from the beginning. So I wanted to do more in that space. And then I kept reading up on stuff, digged a bit more behind the technology. And then I always wanted to do it full time because consulting is okay if you do a gig at a time and then do something else, but I always wanted to do blockchain full time. And then I got in touch with some guys in Palo Alto in California, which I eventually joined, which is a company called Definity. And with these guys, we incorporated a foundation in Zug, so in Switzerland, because we wanted to get away from the US regulator, because we knew that the Swiss regulator wouldn't like what we do at some point. And then I had to leave the US myself because I got some visa issues over there. And then it was, okay, we incorporated our legal entity in Switzerland, so maybe I should also go to Switzerland myself. And that's basically what happened last year. And when I then came to Switzerland, I saw that there's not much infrastructure existing. Everyone has heard of Crypto Valley by now, but there's really a lot of letterboxes, but not really much else. And I teamed up with that wanted to change that. And they wanted to change that by providing infrastructure and by doing investments. And I said, hey, that's great. So let's actually do investments together. And yeah, that's what I then turned in more and more, just an early stage investor, investing my money into blockchain startups and then helping them also hands-on wherever I can. Because by now I've been around since 5 years, more or less, in the industry. So that means that I've seen a thing or two that's actually handy for startups that just get to discover the technology and what they can do with it. So mainly an investor by now.
Okay. So what were you doing before you joined in this crypto space?
I mean, initially I studied philosophy, then I was an investment banker, then I worked in private equity, and then I was running my own consulting business. And then with my consulting business, by pure coincidence, I got in touch with a Bitcoin startup and then just found out that this is going to be my thing.
So like what trigger? What was the trigger to be in crypto space industry?
It just so again, when I got into it, that was a few years back, right? And a few years back, it was only Bitcoin, and it was a bit hard to really get your head around what Bitcoin is. So you needed to read up quite a lot of the stuff, and if you then dig deep into the topic, then you realize, okay, this is actually not new what we discuss right now, but this is like existing as long as the internet exists. But it's only now that this cryptography or applied cryptography comes to life. But the ideas, they go back to the early days of the internet, where people already had this privacy concern, where people already thought, well, it's great that you and I can be connected on video and stuff, but at the same time, we might be giving up quite a lot of our privacy, of our data, of our integrity, whatever. And those are actually some valid concerns, and we should address them with anonymous transactions, with anonymous peer-to-peer encryption. So again, the stuff that Bitcoin brought to life wasn't new. And I think what excited me the most is that I could be part of that journey. These things, encryption, basically see the light of day, because I'm a bit too young to have witnessed the birth of the internet, but I had the feeling that I could witness and be part and be helped shaping the birth of applied cryptography, which blockchain is at the end of the day. I think that's really what triggered it.
And also, I heard from Masa, you're much involved in Asian market.
Yeah. So at some point, I spent 1 year living in Singapore, and yeah, while being in Singapore, I traveled around Asia quite a bit. So that gave me a bit of a network there. And when it comes to blockchain and all things blockchain, actually Asia is quite ahead of the rest of the world. I mean, of course, people think, hey, the US because, well, it's Silicon Valley, or even Switzerland because it's Crypto Valley. But when it comes to adoption and the number of people using anything that has ties to blockchain, Asian markets are actually far advanced, I would say. So yeah, that's why I really, really like to keep my ties going in the Asian markets.
How about Japanese market? Have you been to Japan before?
Yes, I have. I've been to Tokyo twice.
Twice?
Yeah, not so much in the crypto scene, to be honest, because that hasn't happened yet. But it's on my list as a to-do for 2018. Yeah.
Oh, this year.
For this year.
And also I saw your profile, and you lost some money when the Mount Gox.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, when I first heard about Bitcoin, then it was like, okay, if I really want to know what I'm talking about, I just have to buy myself some, right? And then the only way that I, back in the day, could buy myself some Bitcoin was on Gox, and then I just kept them there because it wasn't big money. Just an exchange, and I just leave it there, and well, let's see what happens. And then, yeah, when Gox crashed, obviously, I lost my Bitcoin, but it wasn't a lot of money. But with hindsight, and by now, it's like, if I would still have those Bitcoin that I had back in the day, interesting thought. So, yeah, I lost some Bitcoin when Gox crashed, and then I lost some Bitcoin when one of the other exchange crashed in 2016. But it's only crypto.
Hey, Patrick, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So to an average person who's going to start into this industry, what are some key elements or 3 things, like simply, that you would be like, as an advisor, as a consultant, tell them to do?
Really do the homework by yourself. So read up whatever you can read up by yourself, because before last year. But by now there's a lot of noise, a lot of bottom fishers, a lot of scams, a lot of just uninformed reporting also from more mainstream media. So just whoever wants to really break into the industry should just bother doing the homework and doing the education by themselves.
Right. So Patrick, one of the key words that you mentioned is about there's a lot of scams and fish feeders, right? So
Yeah.
At CWC, our job is to meet people like you who can actually tell us the truth of what's really happening, to give out the noise, so to make it a fair ground for the people to really, really become rich and successful like you, and to do better things in the real world. So just curious, with that said, is there somewhere specific, a type of white paper that you would say this actually offers good content, or any kind of media or coverage that you would recommend for a startup?
Generally speaking, I would stick to the
We're losing you. It's a key thing right here.
first kind of resource. So whatever comes out of a project directly, whether it's a white paper or whether it's a Telegram chat or whether it's all the stuff that the company does by themselves, because that's usually, it might not be good if the company and the project is not good, but it's still the unfiltered stuff. And if you look a bit more historically, it's still very helpful to read the original Bitcoin white paper. It's still very helpful to read the original Ethereum white paper. And if you actually read those two documents, that educates you a lot more than reading CoinDesk or Cointelegraph articles. And I think for all the new projects that come out of that space, it is still very similar. That you actually should read the first-hand reporting and not what people or the figureheads or the experts make out of it, because then most likely it's biased in one way or another.
Right. So my other question is, so thanks for the content. How about when it comes to monetary funds, right? Obviously there's, sorry, I think we're freezing here. Is that? Oh, yeah. So, portfolio management on average, for a young guppy, what's like a bare minimum, to start off with? Some people always just say, oh, don't worry, just start. But what's a healthy number that you think is realistic to actually learn? Should it be 1,000? Should it be 2,000? I mean, realistically, come on. Like if you, use $100, that's nothing right now, right? So even 1,000 or 2,000 is not minimal either. But I'm just curious, from your perspective, what's that bare minimum number that you think is a healthy number for people to start with?
I think 1,000 is fine, because I agree with you. You have to put some money at stake, because otherwise it's just, okay, hey, I'm going to put $50 down there, and then you don't really care, right? So I think 1,000 is fine.
I'm going to put $1,000 with whatever you tell me to put it. So give me some of your guidance. Where should I put my $1,000?
You mean right now?
Yeah, like literally today, I have a young person next to me. She's been asking me about Bitcoin, whatever. So I'm literally going to transfer $1,000 into her account, and I'll let it sit. And if it hits, I'm going to call you back next week and say, give me the next tip, right?
Well, I mean, crypto doesn't work too differently to the rest of the world when it comes to portfolio theory, when it comes to asset selection, right?
Okay.
And we are already in 2018. That means crypto has matured already a bit. That means it's not like 2013 or 2010 where you could have only invested in Bitcoin. So if you now invest in crypto, I would actually diversify in, like, let's say 10 assets, and those 10 assets being the big ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and maybe some more hidden ones like some more hidden ones like Cardano, although they're not really hidden anymore, or like C Classic. So I would really go to coinmarketcap.com, which gives you the best overview of all the coins that exist there.
Okay.
And then just pick a few that you like the most. And again, top down, that would include Bitcoin, that would include Ether, maybe Cardano as one of the runner-ups to Ethereum, but then just spread your $1,000 in a bit more of a portfolio theory approach.
I appreciate it, Patrick. And I know, you get this question all the time, how do I make money? How do I make money? And I know the people who are really making the money, they're not really worried about the money. And I think it's an important message for people to understand that, money comes with skill, and, it's not something that they should be concerned about. But one last question for me, actually, as an investor, right? Sorry, we keep freezing, so if we stop, just wait.
Sorry for that.
Of course, being able to navigate through times is very difficult with a lot of noise happening. Yeah. But this year specifically, where do you see the focus in the blockchain industry picking up?
So the interesting thing is that we get a lot of media attention, right? Because it's easy to make money. It's even easier to lose money.
Right.
But at the fundamental level, there's still some work to be done on the infrastructure level. So it's not like when the internet got started that the internet was there and that then people could build on top of the internet infrastructure stack. For blockchain, we're still working on that infrastructure level. That's the reason why projects like Ethereum, like Cardano, like Definity, like Block Collider, they're coming up with solutions that don't even tackle the mass market yet, because address these infrastructure challenges. And I think in 2018 we're going to see some big movements on that front, so that in 2019 maybe we can say, okay, hey, now we are there, now we can actually build on top of things.
Okay.
Because again, it's still not there yet in a way that it would be as easy to use as the internet is, for example.
So why don't we do this? I'll be honest, we've had a lot of interviewers, but you're really clean, on point, and you share a lot of information. Studio Seed, we'd love to be able to have you sort of come out here and be one of our panel discussion going in the future. So I'll make sure Schilz arranges it. Mordecai arranges it with you with your schedule. We'll take like nice sushi, possibly Mount Fuji. We'll do the non-cryptocurrency thing too. But at the same time, I think people like you are so valuable. I think people really need to be able to get access to you. And with that said, great people have great network and friends. So I'm just curious, if you could possibly introduce us to someone like you, maybe with a different twist or an angle, that would be really appreciated. So I'll give it back to Eriko. But when you come to Japan, I got you. I'll take care of you. We'll give you a good time. All right. And if you're in San Francisco right now?
No, I'm in Switzerland.
All right. So I'm also in the art industry too. So for Basel is one of the things I'll be looking to go into. I think this summer. So if so, hopefully if you're there, please show me around the nice times, and we can
definitely.
Thanks,
Let me know once you get here.
I'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. So if you have someone like to introduce us, please let us know by like type of message or something else.
I have people I think I have one or two people that you should definitely also interview, because again, these are like good people. They have been around since a while. They have kind of seen it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I think I have one or two more people that you should definitely speak to.
Great, thank you. And Leslie, do you have any questions to ask?
Massa hooked us up with each other, and he told me, yeah, you should speak to these guys because they are doing some amazing stuff. What is the purpose of that interview series? Are you going to make a documentary out of it, or what is the main purpose?
Sure. So, sorry, let me answer that question as a partner. So Massa and I have known each other for 20 years. He's been in the FX industry. I'm actually more commercial banking. And one of the things that we realized is rich people always have great information, right? But I think information today, there is a lot of information, but a lot of information is not good information. It's sort of in a way manipulates the markets, right? And as you said before, good people introduce good people. And Studio C is a platform where good people come together. And our motto is sharing is caring, and caring is sharing. So through this kind of interview, of course, we're not taking any fees from it. We want to send out to the communities for them to really understand, by meeting quality people, the world can be a better place. And we're going to start out simple and slow, to take it out, just specifically to the networks that we're surrounded by. But by expanding within our networks, eventually we'd like to take this more on a global platform to really share, right, what was really out there. So more technology can be created at a faster rate than, right, the specific industries. So yeah, we're just looking to make it a fair ground. That's all. Simply that.
Okay, cool. So the main purpose is like education at the core, if I get that right.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's people out there today with internet, but they don't have the access, right? They can't think as simply as what you did today. I think your 30-minute interview is so powerful that it's going to strike so many minds. That's our concept, right? We of course, we didn't ask you the technicals or the fundamentals, and that's not what we're looking for. We want to actually make people realize that by being good people, you'll get to meet good people eventually. And if they can't meet you, in Switzerland, then they come through Studio Seed online, and they can hear the things that you're saying and get inspired, and then also share that inspiration with others, right? And that ends up being a positive experience for everyone around.
Great! Wow!
Super naive, but it's okay. We're taking baby steps right now, so.
Yeah, we all are. So let's at least be naive together.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Great. Cool.
Yeah, don't worry. Your beautiful face won't be on Tinder or something. I'll make sure this is specifically just for public use. All right.
Okay. Great.
Thanks, Patrick.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye.